Ask Joshua to give us an opening prayer. Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this morning. Lord, I thank you for the success of this program. As we are about to start, I'm calling on you that Jehovah may you be with us. Grant us the wisdom that, Father, our being here shall be in vain. By the end of the day, we shall take something home and improve upon our lives. In the name of the Lord Jesus, I pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much, Joshua. I want to welcome you, or all of us, to the National Workshop on Safety Culture. And before we do that, let me just introduce one or two protocols. We have the washrooms on our right hand side. That's on my right hand side, with you on your left hand side. Okay, we have both the male and the female, and then we have also one same thing downstairs. Okay, so if you are uncomfortable, you can just go down and then make yourself comfortable. Thank you very much. I want to introduce or ask some of our, just the important people for now to be on the high table. I call on our President, Engineer Moni Hansen, to be there for us. Let's welcome him. Thank you very much. And I call on one of our past President, Engineer Richard Enyejie, to also be there for us. Thank you. Let me ask our team from IEA, Dinah, and the friend, please join us here. And then please be here. He is the director of the Nuclear Power Institute and also representing the DG for Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. All right, they are here to play just some key roles for the opening. Then they'll come and sit here to listen to the various presentations. I will hand over the mic to our president, who is the host, Engineer Moni Hansen, to give us the opening of the program. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This morning's opening ceremony will be done by Engineer Enyejie. I'm sure most of you know Engineer Enyejie as a past president of this institution, and I will just give his current resume briefly. He is a fellow and a past president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. He is a fellow and member of the International Institute of Risk and Safety Management, UK, and he's the chairman and member of a number of boards, technical councils, and committees of companies and institutions. Ben is a Rotarian, past president, and a Paul Harris Fellow of the Rotary International. Give him a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. I have a passion for safety. Real passion for health and safety, because I've been practicing safety for almost 40 years now. And I'm very privileged that I'm given this opportunity to say a few words. It's my pleasure to be part of this important health and safety course being organized by the Ghana Institution of Engineering in collaboration with the Nuclear Power Institute of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. This two-day workshop is entitled Building a Strong Organizational Safety Culture, with a special reference to safety practices for Ghana nuclear power development. The workshop will be facilitated by a high-powered team of individuals from International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, and their counterparts in Ghana. I have no doubt that the expectations of participants will be fully met by the time this course has been ended. I am not going to take the wheels by their sails, by making these few comments. A strong health and safety culture is desirable in all organizations, but an even stronger safety culture is required in nuclear power plants due to their complexity and the level of risk associated with their operations. Accident statistics in nuclear power plants all over the world confirm this. There are about 115 accidents listed in Wikipedia, occurring between 1952 and 2017. That spans a period of 65 years. This occurred in 11 countries, and this means that approximately there are 2 accidents in power plants the world over every year, roughly. 49 out of the 115, which is 43% of the accidents, occurred in US. And the cost of these accidents was estimated well over $9 billion. 17.5% occurred in Japan, 10.4% in France, 8.6% in Canada, with the rest of the 20.6% spread across UK, India, Russia, Germany, Ukraine, South Korea, and Pakistan. An efficient and effective safety culture depends largely on a visible top management commitment with a robust safety policy and philosophy that essentially depend on the following principles and key success factors, among others. 1. Top management commitment. 2. Integrating safety into and considering safety equal to all other business objectives. 3. Safety being a shared responsibility and not that of the safety manager. 4. Effective communication, consultation, and participation of workers is one of the most important as well. Next, a strong belief that accidents are caused and that they are preventable is essential to build a good safety culture. Preventing injury and illness, therefore, is an economic factor that needs to be put in place. Working safely is a condition of safety. It is believed that if safety is not integrated into the entire business, people ask questions, why do I have to be punished or given warning letter if I break safety rules? I've often been asked, why warning letter and safety? It is visible top. The most important success factor, however, is top management commitment and involvement, as summed up vividly in the following quotations, and I quote, "It is visible leadership from top of the organization which truly makes up an effective health and safety culture, which in turn delivers good health and safety performance. Firms which have committed health and safety culture have a more productive organization." And I quote, this is said by Julie Hackett, Health and Safety Commission UK chairperson in 2007. Second quotation, "It is one thing to say that management is committed, but employees are naturally skeptical. What they are looking for is a consistent message in what you say or write and in every action you take." This is said by James McDonald, president of General Motors. "Indeed, to say safety starts at the top is a cliche, but it starts there, or it doesn't start at all. Management commitment must not only be stated, it must be demonstrated to the entire organization." We in Ghana Institution of Engineering are therefore very happy that this course is being organized here in Ghana to strengthen, upgrade, and safeguard the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission Safety Department. We also wish to add our voice to those calling for the passing of Ghana National Safety Policy, which is essential to the overall health and safety and give direction and principles of action for this country and for all industries operating therein. I therefore welcome all foreign facilitators to Ghana and wish the participants a fruitful two-day celebrations. Thank you.
The next speaker is Engineer Nii Kwasi, and he is going to give us the welcome address on behalf of the Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission.
I can sit one. I can sit. All right. Okay, my convenience. Okay. I bring greetings from the Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor B.J.B. Nyarko. He's very sorry he could not be here. He actually had other pressing issues he actually had to attend to. He welcomes everyone here, in particular our experts. He spends a lot of time in Vienna, so he actually knows a number of them, and maybe not Helen, but what do you call it, Diana, and he actually meets with her when he's there. So this workshop is being organized by support from the Peaceful Uses Initiative of the U.S. government and linked with the IEA. The goal of this initiative is to help various embarking countries who are thinking about going nuclear to actually help strengthen various aspects in which they are actually working in. So, what do you call it? Among the few countries, Ghana was chosen as one of the countries that they were willing to use this funding to support. So, what do you call it? We actually want to first thank the IEA for actually considering us and what do you call it, committing support to us in that regard. To end, I would just say that this workshop is crucial, and we actually have heard from Engineer Nii about the crucial role of safety. So the development of the Ghana nuclear power program is actually going on in line with what is called the International Atomic Energy Agency milestones approach. Now we actually have a first phase where in that phase a country studies about 19 different issues and then assesses whether it is capable or it can actually be at a point where it can commit to a nuclear power program. One of these issues is management systems and leadership, and embedded in that is safety culture. Now, there is one important thing is that the culture is created, and culture is embedded in an organization based on the country's culture. When you ask anyone that the first thing that, oh, Ghana is thinking about going nuclear. Oh, hey, what do you call it? We cannot deal with small things. What about nuclear? Oh, no. Don't go there. I have good news for you. The country is examining about 19 issues, doing detailed work to assess and decide. So in our roadmap, by the end of the year, early next year, we are developing what is called a program comprehensive report, studying all these issues, and then we are going to place it at the desk of government. And then government will make a decision whether we want to commit seriously to a program or we want to say nuclear power. As for now, bye-bye. We don't want to touch you. So this workshop is part of we going about to actually assess whether as a country and as a people, we can actually develop an organization that has a strong nuclear safety culture. So for me, I'm very, very thankful for this workshop. And you see that I am very, very, very emotional. That's how I talk. And I think this workshop is important. So if you came here to joke, no joking. We will actually get well. Thank you very much.
That's a powerful speech from the man at the forefront of the whole fight. I will call upon the rep from IAEA, China, to give us an overview of the meeting. Give her a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you very much for the introduction and for inviting us. My name is, as you already know, Diana. As you probably also figure out, I'm coming from the northern part of Europe, mainly Sweden. And I'm currently working as a safety culture expert at the IAEA, at the headquarters in Vienna. I have been working with this business for about 12 years now. And I've always been interested in organizational development and about how and why individuals behave in organizations. So I've also been working within the nuclear business before I joined the agency. And I was working at a nuclear power plant and at the Swedish Nuclear Fuel Waste Company. Because in Sweden we have a plan for how to take care of the spent fuel in the future. Now I've been at the agency for about 2 years. I'm traveling around the world to emphasize the importance of safety culture in different workshops and trainings. And now we're here. And I had a look at the agenda yesterday, and I truly look forward to take part of the safety culture presentations from all other industries that are on the agenda. Because I strongly believe that we can learn a lot, even if we don't work with the same kind of things. There are many things that are common. And me and my colleague Helena, we will deliver 6 presentations about what is safety culture from an IAEA perspective. We will have a look at the IAEA standards. We will talk about leadership for safety, and not only the importance, but also how we implement the leadership for safety. And that will be talking about tomorrow. We will also talk about something that we call HTO, Human Technology and Organization, tomorrow. Some of you might be familiar with this H2O aspect. Some of you might not, but Helena will explain all about it. And then our 2 last presentations is the IAEA approach to self-culture assessments, and Helena will actually share experience from her organization who went through one of the IAEA program for assessment. As you know, safety culture is a common topic in many of our publications, the IAEA publication. And there's a reason behind that. And it's because it's very important to take not only the technology into consideration, but also the humans and who will work within the organization. Because you're the one who creates the technology. And you and other people will be the ones who work within this organization with this technology. And you have a golden opportunity to create something good already from the beginning, to make sure that nuclear safety and safety culture are concepts that are emphasized already from the start. And that goes all from your government to maybe the subcontractors that you choose one day. Everyone has to be involved, and everyone has to know what safety culture is and how you should work together to achieve a strong safety culture. It will be a challenge sometimes, because if you decide to move on, you will have a lot of organizations and different people involved. And communication will be one of the key issues to solve. How do you make people from all over the world in different companies and in the different governmental institutions to cooperate? But, as I said, you're in the beginning, you have a golden opportunity to create a good foundation. And once you have the nuclear power plant there, when it's about to start operating, it's too late to start thinking about safety culture, because you will already have one. And that safety culture has to be strong once you start operating. So, before I move on here, I also would like to give my colleague Helena the opportunity to introduce herself.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being invited to this conference. Very happy to be here. I am also Swedish, but I work in Norway as the head of the safety department of Institute for Energy Technology Group to Research Reactors. And I work for the IAEA as an associate expert. My background is first from operations, where I've been a field operator and assistant reactor operator at the nuclear power station, and then I've been working as a simulator instructor for many years. And being a simulator instructor, one thing I learned is it's not only about the technology, it's about the people. It's about how you organize your work. And that influenced me strongly and led me to continue my career within human technology organization and different posts in that area. And I've been the manager of the HTO department of Vattenfall, one of the Swedish biggest power company. So this is a topic that is very close to heart, and I am also very happy to be able to share experiences from that and our safety culture work. And as Diana mentioned, you are in a very good position to have this conference of safety culture in this early stage, and I'm impressed of that, and thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, at this stage, I will call on the rep from the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals to give us the presentation on Ghana's safety culture, practical experiences. Yes. The gentleman is called Professor Amponsan Leria.
All right, good morning. Well, thank you very much. Good morning. And as I've been introduced, my name is Amponsan Leria, and my background is psychology. I'm an occupational health psychologist and a professor of organizational development at the University of Ghana. And that's where I'm coming from. And also a member of the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals. We are asked to do a presentation or share knowledge on safety culture and practices in Ghana, which is quite refreshing for me. I've been given just 40 minutes, and I don't pretend to be in the lecture room. I'll try and do justice to it within 40 minutes. And it's important that we understand what safety, occupational health and safety is all about, and understand what culture is also, and also tend to appreciate the dimensions of safety culture, then we can now please gather in perspective to appreciate all of these things. First and foremost, there has been a joint definition of occupational health and safety by the ILO and the WHO. And they claim that occupational health and safety is not merely the absence of disease and infirmity, but it is the promotion at the highest order of physical, mental, and the social well-being of individuals. So when we talk about occupational health and safety, we are not just talking about the physical safety issues. It also includes the mental well-being of the individual, psychological as well as the social bit as well. From where I'm coming from as an occupational health psychologist, I very much appreciate that most of the incidents and accidents that occur on the job mainly start from the psychological. While the individual is disturbed mentally, then it is a recipe for disaster. In all incidents and accident cases, there's a case that the individual lost it for 1 minute, 1 second. As the individual lost focus because he was thinking about something, then it is a recipe for disaster. So, it is important that when we are discussing issues of health and safety, we also give due attention to the mental and the social well-being of the individual. I can imagine that gathered here are a lot of engineers. Yes, engineers, you are saying that you have designed equipment to its best ability. Thus, all accidents and incidents that occur on the job should be blamed on the individual, that is, human beings. So now safety is moving in the direction of behavioral safety issues. And that I would want that we give it some attention. Now talking about culture. Culture is said to be the way of life, the way we do things. So bringing it together, you realize that talking about occupational health and safety culture. Interesting to note that the term itself, safety culture, was first used by the IAEA, that is the International Atomic Energy Agency, in the investigation of the Chernobyl disaster in 86 and 88. In their report indicated that yes, there was something called safety culture. And ever since, we realized that this concept has been used. There's been a number of definitions of the concept all over. For instance, the Health and Safety Executive of the UK has defined it in a particular way. But as you look at the definitions given to safety culture all over, one of the things that tend to be much more pronounced in there is the issue of values, issue of attitudes, issues of behavior, and issues of organization as a whole. So, from the Health and Safety Executive, their definition, they talk about much more the product of individual and group values, attitudes, perceptions, and some competencies, and patterns of behavior. These are some of the key elements that some definitions emphasize on. That needs to generate into something else. But I have to be given a perspective to this as well. Well, other definitions that we have is what you can see here. And with this definition, the appreciation of it is that we talk about safety culture. It says that safety culture is the enduring value and prioritization. It is the enduring value and the prioritization. We are. It's a smaller piece, and I think my voice I have to get. Everybody still. Everyone here I can do it. We want to change, but you go. So they talk about the prioritization of. They talk about the enduring values and prioritization of worker and public safety by each member of an organization. So to the extent that when you talk about safety culture, as per Bond and his colleagues, they're talking about the prioritization given to an enduring value. That is something that is much more permanent within the organization. In there, an enduring value, very lasting within the organization, describing the way people conduct themselves and the priority given by workers to issues of safety within the organization. Well, Banks also tries to define this as the value attitudes, motivation, and knowledge. Speaking about what? The extent to which people have knowledge, are motivated, and the value proposition that people place on occupational health and safety in their organization or in the country. But well, coming from a psychological background, I'll give you why the issue of occupational health and safety in terms of its culture emanates from what we call the climate, the safety climate. When we talk about climate in organization, the organization's climate is given rise to by the perceptions that people have about the organizations in terms of its fundamental elements, i.e. practices, policies, systems, leadership, and so forth and so on. And it is believed that, well, this perception gives rise to a set behavior. And when these behaviors are perpetuated over a long period of time, they become what we call culture. What happens is that, well, in many organizations, employees within the organization, they look out for management philosophy, management policies, management prioritization, management systems and practices. The extent to which management places premium on health and safety. And then that in itself informs their behavior. Once we record that health and safety is a priority for management, in this organization, if you don't put on your PPE, you'll be dismissed. And it's no, we are even going to give you a warning letter. The people reckon that management places a lot of priority on health and safety. So well, they would want to indeed adhere to that script. That in itself shapes their behavior. And as these behaviors are continued over a long period of time, that becomes what we call the culture. So in effect, when we talk about the safety culture, it is much more the perception that people have about the practices, policies, systems, and regulations, prioritization that as a country we are giving to health and safety. That is what is informing our safety behavior. And these have continued over a long period of time, hence change what we call safety culture. That is it. The extent to which we view, because even as a country, we don't have an occupational health and safety policy. It tells you that we don't prioritize safety. So, well, people are not, and organizations are not keen on occupational health and safety practices. I have visited organizations that tend to have international appeal all over. When they are out there, they adhere strictly to health and safety bits. When they come into Ghana, they forget about it because there is nothing to push that agenda in the area of health and safety. Quickly, let's look at the dimensions. Various scholars have given various dimensions to occupational health and safety. And I want to look at various dimensions even before we get into proper looking at over. Various dimensions have been given. I mean, the scholar that you are looking at, you will see various dimensions. But I would want to look at these critical backwards. Most of them, these are predominant in most of them. You find the issue of, and I hear engineer Enyeje talking about these things in his presentation. Issues of management and leadership. The dimension, management and leadership. To what extent that the management of organization or the management of this country prioritize issues of health and safety? What leadership are they given to issues of health and safety? To the extent that, well, in the country, we have what we call the Inspectorate Division of the Ministry of Health. When it gets to their office, and it's and permit me to say, you know, malice aporto is an eyesore. The Inspectorate Division, a unit that is supposed to be inspecting, making sure that organizations are adhering to health and safety, look at their budgetary allocations, and it's nothing to write home about. It tells you that when it comes to leadership in the area of health and safety, we are not prioritizing it. And it's clear to us. So if you are discussing the issue of safety culture and you are looking at the dimension, leadership and management, the extent to which we give some sense of meaning to the issue of health and safety is critical. But yes, that in itself will define us as a people and the extent to which We're talking about issues of safety and hazard reporting culture. That is one of the things. In our country, do we have systems for reporting accidents and incidents so in a very simplified manner? Even when it comes to hazard reporting, when people report hazards within the environment and within the organization, they are rather tagged as accident prone and they are penciled down for dismissal. So rather than encouraging people to report accidents and incidents and even near misses, which in itself will inform on strategies to, in a way, avert any occurrence of accidents and incidents in the organization, rather we punish such people. And that is what is happening. It speaks to our safety culture, so people will not even report accidents. Even when people get injured on the job, well, they will have to keep it to themselves. 3 years ago, during the World Safety Day, we were talking about data. The ILO was discussing issues of data on occupational health and safety. As researchers at the university, we've been looking forward to having very rich data in the area of health and safety to make projections as to how health and safety contribute to GDP, etc., etc. We are not getting data. It tells you the state in which we find ourselves as a country when it comes to the issues of safety. Another thing that we want to talk about as a dimension to safety is the issue of safety awareness. Are we much more aware about issues of health and safety even in our environment? The understanding of health and safety in Ghana, to the best of my knowledge, is the fact that it's limited to physical safety, the neglect of what we call the psychosocial, psychological, and the mental. It is missing from the discourse that we have. Very much missing. The whole idea of utilitarianism, designing buildings and designing facilities for the masses to the neglect of the minority. That is it. Our awareness of occupational health and safety is limited. Maybe because, well, we don't even have professional institutions that train people in the area of health and safety. That is lacking. It is not there. So our awareness of what health and safety is, when you ask a Ghanaian, what do you mean by it is purely about physical safety? A manager does not mind abusing an employee, not knowing that what is impugning on the mental well-being of the employee, and that in itself can be a source of disaster. The ILO will indicate to you that when we talk about occupational health and safety, it is the adaptation of man to work and every work to man. Let us find out from ourselves. How many times do we conduct personality profiling before we place individuals on the job? And the individual's personality will predispose him to some psychosocial hazards within the organization. Yet we are oblivious of this fact. The fact that the guy read engineering means he should practice engineering. That is never true. The fact that the person read accounting means that he should practice accounting. That is never true. His personality plays an important role, and that is it is related from me. And it's not surprising that we have a lot of engineers who are doing extremely well in the field of banking. They are doing extremely well in other fields that we have, not necessarily in that field that we do. It tells you that they really define themselves at a point in time. Personality plays an important role in health and safety. Are we even aware of these needs? Safety awareness is missing in the discourse that we talk about, but that is one of the dimensions that we need to appreciate. Again, let us talk about the issue of safety communication. Information in the area of occupational health and safety, where is it? If you need data on health and safety in the country, where are you going to get it? To what extent is health and safety communicated throughout our organization, throughout our environment? Our television stations, our radio stations, to what extent do they educate the populace on the issues of health and safety? And it's missing from our national resource. Safety communication, environmental issues that we need to communicate. I mean, we are living in fields and people conduct themselves anyhow on our roads everywhere. These are issues of safety. Yet, the discourse is not there. Communication on issue of safety, and it's not there. I'm just trying to present to you These are the dimensions, so that in itself, at the end of the day, you will conclude for yourself the state of the safety culture in our country. These are dimensions. Finally, they talk about issues of safety willingness. Employees, employers, the citizenry. I was very much gratified hearing that when we talk about occupational health and safety, it is a stakeholder responsibility, a shared responsibility. It shouldn't be just that of one. But somebody should lead it. Somebody should lead that discussion. At least we need a policy on occupational health and safety to be passed for us to follow. Where is it? Where is that willingness? Successive governments have not shown that political will in the passage of occupational health and safety policy. It is not there. The willingness for health and safety, I mean, because for many organizations, it is a cost item, it is a cost element, and we will do everything to do away with that cost. We are not willing, we are not prepared, even for us as safety professionals, even paying our dues to our professional bodies. We are not willing. That speaks to the state of safety in the country. Take note, leadership is central, and that's what I said. Leadership is central to safety culture because leadership philosophy, leadership commitment, leadership motivating people in need. I say it all the time. That one of the things we need to appreciate that within organizations, within our environment, people will only shy away from punitive things and they will do things that are rewarded. So normally it is through the punishment and the reward regimes that are put together in our policies. That in itself, our punishment will be better and our reward will reinforce safety behaviors in our environment. And it's important that we appreciate the fact, and that is why I am on it with Engineer Enyeje when he mentioned the role of leadership, the role of management in promoting all of these things. Most of these things I have discussed already. I don't want to do it. I just want to delve into the overview. In discussing the overview, we are saying that, well, indeed, Ghanaian work environment tend to be characterized with a lot of incidents and accidents. Even within occupations that are considered so hazardous and for that matter tend to have a lot of safety measures put in place, we still record high rate of accidents and incidents. Let's talk about a recent Newmont disaster that claimed 6 lives and other 4 people getting injured in the process. What went wrong? Let's talk about the numerous gas explosions that we are having in the country. Are we conscious of all of these things? Yesterday was just 1 year for the atomic disaster. Yet, if you visit our fuel stations, you could visibly see the hazards there, ready to explode, and we are still just waiting for another one too. Okay, and there will be another question. The state of our safety culture. And that is it. A number of them we can talk about it. We do not want to, in any case, drum it in and ram it. But hey, are we? I was thinking that one. These disasters that have been happening. Necessarily, some policies would have been put in place. Some people, some sanctions would have been given out to people to serve as deterrent. And here we stand in this country. Still witnessing these things that we're talking about. Yes, the way people even handle refuse in our environment speaks to the fact that, well, yes, there are millions of issues of environmental and safety issues. Well, the way we treat ourselves, we say, aside the citizenry in this country, we are ourselves susceptible to issues of hazard. We don't even see them. Talking about even issues of awareness when it comes to issues of risk assessment in our environment. When auditors, trained experts come in to conduct issues of safety audit, they are looking out for physical safety infractions. Forgetting that one, when the individual is not adapted to the work, that can be also a source of hazard. When it comes, You're just looking around and it's physical safety audit. Ask yourself in your organization, have you had a safety auditor come in and ask for your job analysis document? Ask for the job description of individual in the person specification. Moving on to the individuals, ask them, what is your qualification? What is the skills, knowledge, and ability that you have? Matching it to the job that you are doing. Knowing very well that if the individual lacks the skills, knowledge, and ability, that could be a potential source of risk. Do we do that? We are unaware. Putting round pegs in square holes in our country. That's a safety culture that we have in our country. Let's see some pictures. Evidence of safety culture. You think that well, and it's much more issues of survival. In our Galaxy region, we talk about it. If indeed we had a culture of safety, I'm sure that well, the Galaxians would be careful in the way they operate. But it's an issue of survival. Safety is asset. Look at them. At the peril of their own lives. Look at what they are doing. Just to make money. Because safety culture in the country, nothing to write home about. Look at it. And look at this picture. I saw this picture and I was amazed. These are people working for an organization that seeks to protect our health and safety. These are employees of the organization going to collect garbage. And look at how they are hanging by the vehicle. Without any protective, no nothing, they are hanging, inhaling the effluents. One can describe the safety culture of our country to be all dying down. That's how we can describe it. It is non-existent. They will not be punished because what? This is an organization that is seeking to protect the health and the well-being of other people, rather endangering the health and well-being of this most valued assets, the employees. It is not a good thing. Now, we talk about this and we say that what? Yes, the work and the weak safety culture that we have in our country perhaps could be said to be emanating from the following: failure on the part of past and present government to enact policies to give meaning to health and safety issues in the country. And indeed, Engineer mentioned it. We have not shown demonstrated commitment and leadership to health and safety. That's one of the reasons. Another thing that we can talk about is poor infrastructure and funding for issues of health and safety. It is not there. Even the agencies that we have put in place, Inspectorate Division, go there, Factories Inspectorate Division, go there and see their offices. Underfunding. It tells us we are not willing, and that is it. These are the sort of things that are giving rise to the current issues of safety culture. We talk about lack of synergy among occupational health and safety minded organizations. Yes, the organizations that are seeking to, of course, there's nothing like a synergy. I mean, you go to Ghana Standards Authority, they are doing something, Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, something, they are sitting somewhere. You go to every mine and the Minerals Commission, they have a safety department doing something. No, nothing like a synergy. Sharing ideas and seeking, no, we are independent. Everybody, the fight for tech, we want to control our tech. We are talking about the national safety culture. We ought to build synergies among the various units within the country that seek to promote occupational health and safety. Above, we also talk about what? The issue of insufficient number of qualified occupational health and safety practitioners. Yes. For most individuals, the guy was reading engineering and there was an aspect of health and safety that he read. Now what he might have opposite become a safety person. It is a comprehensive course that you need to. People will shy away from it. Well, they heard about okay, well, as I get into the professional level, so the individuals get into it, they apply the certificate, they forget about it. They have that certificate on them, but they just wrote the exam. But well, that is it. We don't have adequate in our institutions here in Ghana that train people in the area of health and safety. Currently, we are doing a work in assessing their outline as to whether it is so comprehensive in tackling all the issues of health and safety. I don't want to mention any institution here, but we are assessing it, and it is inadequate to tell you. Again, the issues that we need to talk about has to do with what we talk about the issues of insufficient education and more the issues of the general lack of adequate occupational and safety information. It is lacking. People are not aware about issues of occupational and safety. There's lack of information in that area, giving rise to the safety culture that we're experiencing. Let us also talk about the institution, insufficient occupational and safety education. Yes, people are not well educated in our organization. Yes, everybody at all is to occupy the health and safety position. This is so far as the people's person is okay without any such way. And that's one of the things that we need to talk about. Or the issues of the negative traditional practices. Yes, our traditional practices also not helping us. In our tradition, we are so superstitious. When even accidents occur, there is a witch, it's a wizard who lets to it. We're investigating it to find out the root cause and to make sure that it doesn't recur. There is not the family wanted to kill the they attributed to witchcraft. Traditional practices. These are not helping us. We talk about the issues of how do you call it? Our programs that we even have. Some of the programs are not even encouraging. The typical Ghanaian believe that if God does not kill you, you will not die. So they believe that it is not your personal protective equipment that will save you. I've said that these some of the programs. They say God counts food for the one-armed man. We say, child, I hope I don't food. I won't leave you and telling you that yes, even if you get hurt, God will take care of you. So for most of these traditional practices, they are not happening. Indeed, our tradition, which is much more pluralistic in nature, is also not helping us. Then yes, we say that we operate a pluralistic culture. It is not helping us in the area of safety. So for instance, when you go to the construction site, a lot of engineers there, yes, one car being used by everybody because we need to share, we feel one car that we expose ourselves to other cars. You go to the construction, it's the same, one car. Drink again. One car, biological hazard. Yes, that is a cultural issue. You can't do anything about it. In our environment, if you see somebody acting in an unsafe manner, you can't report him because if you report him, he will lose his job. No. So let us leave it as said. Our cultural issues, they are not helping us in any way. And it's important that we realize some of these things that are not helping us in our country. In our country, we operate a macho culture. I've done a number of studies in the mines. You go into the mines, people are provided with personal protective equipment, yet they will not use it. They will not use it. Macho culture, hey, if you are seen wearing all your PPEs, you are seen to be an astronaut. Because when you look like a caricature, a macho culture that you're facing. We see it all the time. We are oblivious of biological hazard. People are sharing raincoats. Meanwhile, there's a reason why we call it personal protective equipment. It should be personal to you. You go on site and you are sharing helmets without disinfecting them. The guy who wore the helmet went to site. You are going, that same helmet is given to you. But the guy is sweating in it. You are scientists who will tell us most of these diseases, hepatitis B, etc., they emanate from body fluids. Yet we share them commonly unaware of these things because of our pluralistic nature as a country. And it's also not helping us. The mining industry, when visitors are going, one visitor comes out and his helmet, everything safety boots taken and given to another person without being disinfected. It speaks to the culture that we have in the mining industry and all other organizations. These are the issues that we are talking about. And as I said, our safety culture could be, in any case, described as all that But then, I talk about the last bit towards the establishment of a positive safety culture. The ghost must die. There's something, I don't know, there's something that is hunting us from the passage of a national operational health and safety bill. I think that it should die. What is it that is hunting us? Why are we not committed to that ghost needs to die? What do we need to do? It is very important that what we need to promote the new comprehensive operational. I say this with passion because at least I was a part of the people who drafted that policy that have been in existence in 2011. And it's been there successively down in and out. Before then, there had been one that was, but never saw the light of day. That ghost needs to die. We need a policy that will give direction, that will give leadership, that will show commitment, and that in itself will get people to be aware and conscious about issues of health and safety. We say that Ghana needs to adopt a broad-based comprehensive operational health and safety that touches on all, that brings that synergy between the various institutions with a focus in the area of operational health and safety. And it's therefore important, we say, well, there is also the need for the establishment of the Ghana Operational Health and Safety Authority. Yes, yes. We need it so that it will bring that synergy. That authority will, in a way, bring about a synergy in the various agencies that seeks to do something on operational health and safety. We also talk about the fact that it is very, very important that yes, institutionalized health and safety as a priority course in all our educational institutions, because it should be a way of life. There's something I call attitude inoculation. In order to have that culture, we need to inoculate our kids from the primary school, where they become conscious about issues of health and safety at the primary school and grow with it. Attitude inoculation. Let us institutionalize it in all our educational institutions, from the primary to the secondary to the tertiary level. It should be a part. Above all, I say that word, yes, and it's very, very important that we're how do you call it, at the highest level, you need an institution set aside specifically for health and safety. We should get that, because when we talk about the dimensions of health and safety, they cut across. So you could have the psychology unit touching on issues of occupational health psychology. You could have a bit of it. So you could have a whole institution for that, a higher learning institution, that rather than having this courses that people are doing in bits and pieces. It is important. The World Economic Forum has indicated that one. Yes, countries that are competitive are also the safest. Countries that are much more profitable and competitive are also the safest. I would encourage that as a country, yes, we think about health and safety and live happy. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause. The last for the morning for the plenary session, the last lecture, is Ghana Safety Culture Practical Experiences. And this will be delivered by my good friend, Engineer Michael Kosi Dede. Give me my round.
Thank you very much, President. Okay,
as you can see, I'm going to take off from where my two previous seniors have made their submissions. I'll try and focus on safety culture in the engineering sector, but it's difficult to isolate that from the bigger picture that Prof has rightly presented. So I'll begin, this is the way I'm going to approach the work. What is safety? What is safety culture? And I guess Prof has gone over quite a number of these issues. What informs the Ghanaian safety culture? Safety culture in other countries. I'll share a few examples. And then why the difference in the safety cultures that we see. How can we improve the Ghanaian safety culture? That will be the last bit that I will throw to all of us. Now, what is safety? So if you go into Wikipedia, it says the condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. Now, what I see about this definition that you find in a lot of dictionaries is that, and from my experience working in the mines, is that when you are doing orientation for people, for all classes of people, you need to be able to give them something they can work with. And so, going through all these definitions, I finally ended up with something I put for myself. And I said I own the copyright to that one. So wherever you use this one, you need to keep it clear. I said safety is the continuous identification of hazards and putting in place controls to prevent incidents. I say this because for a workman, you need to give him actionable things. What does he need to do to be safe? He or she must continuously identify hazards in the workplace, put in place controls to prevent incidents. When we say incidents, because incidents are unplanned events. You don't want that to happen. Because whatever happens after an incident is providence. It could end up with an injury or it may not end with an injury. So we say that your job largely is to continuously identify hazards, put in place controls to prevent incidents. Okay. Then I said, what is safety culture? Considering that because we're dealing with the Atomic Energy Commission, I decided to go to the Advisory Committee on Safety of Nuclear Installations. And this is what they provided as far back as 1993. And I've highlighted those in green for a reason, because if you replace those with Ghana, you get where we are driving. It says the safety culture of an organization is the product of individual group values like Bob has already entered. Attitudes, perceptions, competencies, and patterns of behavior that determine the commitment to and the style and efficiency of an organization. Health and safety management. These are things that Prof has gone over, therefore I will not go any further. Now, what informs the Ghanaian safety culture? What informs that culture? Societal values, attitudes and perceptions, competencies and behaviors. And we'll look at a few of those. Does human life matter here in Ghana? Does human life matter? It matters. How do we treat the lowest in society? Someone once said that how we treat the lowest in our society shows how we value lives in that society. How do we treat the lowest in our society? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Those unfortunate to be psychologically disturbed, issues like that, how do we treat them? These are questions we need to ask of ourselves. The value, how we treat the lowest in our society, that determines the value we attach to life. We need to examine those issues. Does integrity matter in Ghana? Does integrity matter? The quality of being honest and having strong moral. Does it matter here in Ghana? Does it matter? Again, as we deal with safety, these are issues we need to consider. Do we respect science? No, we don't.
Because we don't understand.
No, not just that. You see, as a nation, there are questions we need to ask ourselves. And I say that when we say we must censor films, there's a reason why films must be censored. You sit on any bus traveling from here to Kumasi to Takoradi, anywhere. The films that are shown are all based on superstition. It's nothing scientific. It's nothing science. So what are we promoting as a nation? Promoting superstition. Where, like Prof. rightly said, an accident happened, oh, this one, there has to be someone behind it. If you need back. You understand? So a driver has been driving for 40 years. And everybody says he's the most experienced driver. Suddenly he has an accident, so no. It can't happen. 40 years driving and suddenly he has an accident. There must be something behind this one. We don't look at the science. I carry a Ludo die with me. How many of you played the game of Ludo? I always use it when I'm doing training. I tell people that the last time I did some training, I called a number of people to cast the die. We called for 6. One person cast it 24 times, there was no 6. Another person cast it the very first time, and there was a 6. And that is how accidents are. You could be driving for 40 years and make the same mistakes for 40 years and never have an accident. Or someone does it the very first time, the person is dead. So as long as you continue to cast that die, which means that as long as you continue to exercise risky behavior, one day it will happen. One day your sex will come. One day your sex will come. So when we say it's a chance in a million, it could be the very first time. It could be the last. But once you continue to cast that die, it will happen. So we need to respect science if we are to overcome the issues of the poor culture we have about safety in Ghana. Self-control and discipline is important. The organization makes rules about what you should do and what you should not do. And yet, we insist on doing the wrong things. Driving, rules. I'm sure most of you have seen a lot of misconduct on our streets this morning. Driving, there are rules. And yet, we disregard all these rules. These are important things that we need to keep in mind. So the question is, what are our shared values? Do we respect science? Do we have value for human? Do we integrity? Does it matter? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. Do we learn from our experiences? And this is where we talk about the Malcolm disasters that have happened, the flooding that's happened here in Ghana, derailment has happened here, stadium disaster, medical stores fire, market fires, atomic junction explosion, road traffic accidents. I talk about RTAs. Susie Williams, Terry Bonchaka, Ebony, and a host of them are dead and gone. Have we learned from them? Have the results of these accidents reportedly been shared with us? So we talk about, do we share in investigations? So Malcolm disaster, when you go and so it's a security matter. Market fire is a security matter. What are we talking about? We are treating these things like fetish when we should be sharing the information because we want to prevent recurrence. But we live in a country where accident investigations are shelved, even if they are done at all. These are questions we need to ask ourselves about our country. Do we hold employers, institutions, and individuals accountable in this country when there are problems? In spite of the fact, like others calling for safety policy, I say that there are still enough laws in the country at the moment to deal with the issues that confront us daily. If you look into the Labor Act, for instance, Section 118, it's broad and sweeping. You can hold people accountable, but do we do that? For those of you who may not be familiar, go and look for it. The Labor Act, Section 118, go and read it out. You see that employers' responsibility, they are all there. You can hold people accountable. Go to the Factories Officers Shops Act, there are responsibilities in there. Act 328, if I remember right. But that's the Factories Officers Shops Act. Go and look at it. There are rules and things in the guidelines. We test equipment in our factories. We do certain things. These are all things in there, specified. We don't do them. No one is held accountable. An accident happens today, all the company has to do is see the family, give them a few thousand cedis, and everybody walks away. These are questions we need to deal with. So we need to familiarize ourselves with some of these legal requirements. Do we trust the state institutions, police, Ghana Fire Service, National Road Safety Commission, DVLA, factory inspectorate, courts? Do we trust them? Because you see, I ask this question because if we don't trust the system, then people are not going to pursue things. So you know that your employer has dismissed you for standing your ground when it comes to an issue of safety, because the right to life is guaranteed under our laws. It is there. You are guaranteed a right to life. So you can refuse to do dangerous work in your workplace. But if you do that, your employer can chase you out. And if you don't have trust in the court systems, can you pursue it? Exactly, Section 119. So these things are there in the Labor Act. You are guaranteed the right to life. Nobody pursues this. How many times do you hear about court cases on some of these issues? Hardly or never. But these things are guaranteed because we do not trust in the court system, and the system is also expensive. For me, an injured person, and I have to go and pay a lawyer. Every day the lawyer will give me this money, I'm going to court. Give me money, I'm going to court. Where am I going to get the money? So I throw up my hands up in the air and give up. So these are the systems that we have, and they are not good enough. So our attitudes and perceptions are generally very bad. Do we have competent professionals? Our competencies and behaviors. Are professionals acting professionally? And for us as engineers, I say this all the time, that our works will indict us. Our works will indict us because our works are visual. Any quality engineer from any country who steps foot in this country looks at our infrastructure and looks at the state of the infrastructure to make judgment on us. But we cannot run away from that. We cannot run away from that. Gutters that don't slope. I mean, for Christ's sake, it's rained 1 week, the water is still in the gutter. And we have signed off that the work has been done and people have been paid. Our works will indict us. Our works are visual. We need to stand up. Not just engineers, all other professionals in this country. We need to stand up and do the right things. Is competency rewarded in this country? We reward competency. No. Unfortunately, sometimes competency is not rewarded. If you are seen as competent, if your face is not the right color, who might you? These are things that will not help to promote a good safety culture. We need to look out for some of these things. So our behaviors, our competencies need to be looked at. Are we disciplined? So I earlier on cited the fact that you are an employee who is decided to refuse to do dangerous work. But suddenly it occurs to you that you are someone who comes to work late regularly. And you say, no, this one I'm not going to do anything. I have to continue with the work. Because if your employer is also smart enough or your supervisor is smart, he will not chase you for refusing to do dangerous work. You will simply wait at the gate the following day. You show up, you say, Master, you are late. Max, your first warning. Another week you are late. Second warning. Third one, you are late, Master. We are firing you. Indiscipline is a major problem. And that is why sometimes we are unable to stand our ground and fight for our rights in this country. If we are disciplined, we can stand up and challenge some of the issues of occupational health in this country and begin to change the culture in this country. And unfortunately, many of us are not disciplined. Now, I say that industries with safety cultures are at variance with the Ghanaian culture, largely. Because if you go into this seemingly excluded environment, you see a certain culture that is not very common on the streets every day. And I cite an example, mines run by multinational companies. I specifically mention multinational companies because if you go to the other companies that are not multinational, the culture there is completely different. And the multinationals do this. If you go to fast-moving goods company like Unilever, Nestle, and others, the culture there is completely different. Safety culture is different. If you go to power and upstream oil and gas industries, VRA is a local example, but they are fairly good. Gridco, Talu, Schlumberger, safety cultures are completely different. And these are things we need to acknowledge. But the multinationals are not doing it simply because they love us. Because they are shareholders who will not accept bad behavior. They will not accept bad behavior. And therefore, they try and carry these practices with them wherever they go. But here in Ghana, If you go around and you see other companies which are also multinational, they come here, they don't care. Some of them don't care. Especially in our construction industry. Very, very poor. Very, very terrible behaviors in the construction industry. And these things are there for all of us to see. But these are some examples that we may want to learn from or encourage these good practices that we see there. Now, safety culture in other countries. I'm just going to throw a few pictures out there for all of us to see. This happened this year, was it? Yeah, this year, the Grenfell Towers in the UK. Caught fire this year. But if you go online, unlike the collapse of the Melbourne that happened, you see the reports. You see reports, they are shared. They're out there. That is how other countries deal with things like this. We will hide it and say it's national security. National security about how market fires, collapse buildings. I mean, let's give ourselves some, let's credit that the society has some level of intelligence. This happened in Florida, March this year. And this was supposed to be actually a new bridge that was supposed to be an experimental construction. It collapsed within hours. But go online, you see the reports out there. They share it, they are investigating, they have done the investigations. They may not have concluded, but there are things that they have out there. They have shared the information. That is the kind of culture you see out there. General Bridge collapse, 18th August. What have they done? I quickly went online again. I'm sure most of you heard about it in Italy. You see this diagram showing you how things happened that led to the bridge collapse. Out there online, you can get this information. Then they tell you the sequence of events and then on. But let's look at Indonesia, earthquake. That's happened in Indonesia. Indonesia is a known earthquake prone zone. Earthquakes have been happening there. I just captured a number of them. 2004, 2006, 20. It's been happening, they know. They know it. Now in 2016, Germany, or sometime after 2008, Germany and US gave them a number of equipment to help sense and detect the tsunami. As far back as 2016, when an earthquake happened, they realized that all the devices were not working. All the devices were not working. But what happened? Nobody bothered. And then 2018 happens again. So far, how many people dead? 1,400 and counting. 1,400 and counting. You understand? That is the culture in Indonesia. Now, Japan, Fukushima. Again, you have a detailed report on Fukushima. Nuclear disaster is out there. You can read it, understand what happened, and say, hey, what can we learn from this? How do we ensure that it doesn't happen again? But in Ghana, I'm yet to see one of any national report that has come out. You don't see it. If it's still being incompleted, you don't see it. You don't know where it is. When you call government officials, oh, we are investigating, and we passed a white paper in somewhere, you never hear about it. So, what do we seek to do with that investigative report? What do we want to learn from it? Why are we not sharing the lessons? Now, 2018, Japan went for a World Cup. They lost. But before they left, they tidied their dressing room. Nice, and left a thank you card to the Russians. What does that tell you about the values? That even in the moments of grief, they're able to rise up above their movie and do what values. Clean up the room. Let's thank you. They are honest. What are values in Ghana? Can you imagine how we would have left the dressing room? So I just want to leave us with this picture. A clean dressing room. every tissue, everything will work out of that. The safety culture in Ghana is weak. We need to admit that. It's weak. The countries with positive attitude to safety have shared values of integrity and respect for science. Largely enforce laws without favor. They largely enforce laws without favor. They hold employers, institutions, and individuals accountable as citizens who stand up for their rights. And they operate on a system of trust. Where you are asked, well, have you paid your fee? Assuming we're charging for this conference, and you walk in, and someone says, have you paid? The moment you say yes, the person may accept it. Simply on trust. The person will say, oh, show me your ticket, or show me your receipt. You operate on a system of trust, where once you say this, everybody accepts that it is. Largely. But here in Ghana, show me your receipt. We say trust but verify. Trust but verify. That is the way we work. But in order to make progress, we need to look at all the values that are out there in other countries. So why the difference in safety culture? And I'm saying, is there education, formal and informal? And that's why I talk about the films that we watch, or the kind of films that we make here ourselves. Promoting superstition over science and technology. We need to begin to deal with some of these things. And we're happy watching them. But the impact on us is huge. And this is why I think that we all need to make a conscious effort to begin to look at some of these things that we do. Weak institutions, DVLA, the factory inspectorate, that's what I've summed as FI, EPA, Ghana Police, Ghana National Fire Service, the district assemblies, enforcing laws, building permits, issues like that. Nothing happens. We need to look at all these institutions. Consciousness. What is our level of consciousness about safety? Are we alert? The consciousness comes about largely when for soldiers at war, their alertness is heightened because you are always looking out for what? Enemies. You are looking out for risk. Are we conscious at all? Most of us just move on. Our level of consciousness when it comes to safety is very low. Values. What values informs our thoughts, words, actions? Attitudes, leadership. Has been mentioned. Now, the last one I want to go on is wealth and affluence. From the examples I demonstrated, you realize that most of these countries that have the higher culture have a lot of wealth and affluence. So my question is this: does wealth and affluence have an influence on safety culture? That's a question I want to pose to all of us. Now, Maslow put up this triangle as far back as 1943. How many of you have seen this triangle before? Okay. Now I want to try and for us to relate to this triangle. Maslow says that the basic needs of life are at the bottom. The basic needs are here: breathe, food, water, sex, sleep, and then what? Excretion, house. But the basic needs of life, the things that we need to live, are fundamental to everyone. Food, clothing, shelter. We all need that. What Maslow postulates is that if people don't have these basic needs of life, they cannot rise to another level of life, which is where they begin to look at issues of security of body, employment, resources, morality, family health, and issues like that. And this is where my question becomes relevant again. Is there any relationship between wealth and safety culture? Now, where are we in Ghana? Are we a majority of our people here or there or where? Majority of us are down here. Survivor. So I'm postulating here that it may partly be responsible for our attitudes to safety and informing our safety culture. So what we need to do is to also possibly try to increase the wealth that we share. If you look at the companies I share, Talo, Gripco, VRE, the mines, if you look at that environment, they are controlled environments. But you will say or we will admit that generally the persons who work in these industries are largely better paid than most other industries. True or false? Again, these are the correlations I'm drawing. These are the correlations I'm drawing. That when people are scared, because we're all economic beings. We're economic beings. And therefore, if you are in a place where you know that if I don't do what I am told, I'll be dismissed, it influences how you behave. You don't want to lose that paycheck. You definitely don't want to lose it. So maybe I'm saying that the state of our economy may also have a bearing on our safety culture. Maybe, based on the presentations that we did. But we need to strive to get here and move up. So as a society, we need to work for collective wealth. The situation where wealth is limited to a few does not help to change our status as a country. At the moment, we say we are middle income country, but you have majority of the people still around here, one who in poverty. And that will not help influence or change drastically our safety culture if we do not increase the wealth of the majority of the people in this country. That is what I'm postulating. We need to look at it. We can examine it. Professor Esibe subjected to further study for us. But that is what I'm postulating, that the state of our economy is also not healthy. If you look at Indonesia, which was one of the examples I demonstrated, they're also a very poor country. Maybe that is why that is there. But if you look at advanced countries, their cultures are slightly different. So how can we improve the safety culture in Ghana? You see my man in the helmet there. Pardon me. How can we improve it? So again, I'm putting the triangles together. There's a triangle which was developed by Heinrich many years ago, where he analyzes the causes of accidents and issues like that. They're all triangles, and they all have meanings when it comes to safety practitioners. Heinrich was looking at the near misses that result in incidents and result in accidents, and injuries, losses, and then fatalities. And we do this general analogy. Although this theory has largely been challenged, it still remains relevant for HSE practitioners, in that the number of increased near misses you have on your site is an indicator that things are not right. You need to do something about it. But it then also relates to the Maslow's triangle, saying that if we can't improve wealth or the economic well-being of people within a certain circle, we could possibly also motivate them to rise up above the ladder and then change things. Now, using investigation findings. If we use investigation findings, so we've just shown basically how incidents occur. We say there some are preventable, some are not. And then if we investigate and find the unsafe act, the unsafe conditions and underlying causes, and we share those reports, it is a way by which we can begin to address the issues of negative safety culture within our environment. But unfortunately, we are not sharing those reports at the moment. We are not. Even in some workplaces, they finish an accident investigation and then simply file it. What was the purpose of doing that accident investigation? The purpose is to share the experience and the lessons so that people do not repeat such errors in the future. Building a proactive safety culture. So that is post-incident. When you use accident investigation, we say that is post-incident. The incident has happened, we have investigated, we have shared the experience. Now, post-incident, what we do to actually prevent incident? We say you must continuously do what? Identify hazards. We must, where's the point? Okay. We must, one, continuously identify hazards in the workplace. So you walk into this place, I'm walking towards this table. What are the possible things that can hurt me, harm me? Those are hazards. Anything that could cause harm or injury is a hazard. So identify them. Identify that there are these cables here. It could be a trip hazard. So I need to be mindful. You need to also continuously identify hazards in the workplace. Then you assess that hazard. If anything goes, if I trip, what could go wrong? You realize that there's an obstacle there. I could hit my head against that obstacle. You need to assess. Because sometimes we slip, we fall, nothing goes wrong. But someone may slip next time and hit his head against this, and is dead. So the same slip that I slipped and fell this way, someone slipped, hit his head against this one, and it's gone. It's the same hazard, but the circumstances were slightly different. So you need to assess what could happen if someone slept. The person be, what is the severity of the injury that could happen? Then you take preventive action. What should we do next? Let us remove this. Let us remove this, the trip hazard. Let us ensure that, or if the trip hazard has to be there, we need to inform people. We put a warning sign there that there's a trip hazard here. These are actions that need to be taken. Then you evaluate preventive actions. Regularly, you need to evaluate your preventive actions. Is it adequate? Is it still relevant? If it is not, what do we do? Then you share the experiences of all the things that happen. That is the proactive way to preventing incident. Incident investigations are post-incident. The incident has happened, we have learned lessons, we have shared the experiences. A way of preventing future incidents. But to prevent what we don't know now, these are the actions, set of actions that need to be taken. And we need to learn to build a proactive safety culture in Ghana. So, me said earlier on, is Ghana ready for nuclear power? And everybody says, no. Why? Because people are informed by our collective experiences. As at now, the number of road traffic accidents this year, as compared to last year, has increased. We have not taken corrective actions over the years. So we don't see any trend in improvement. So when people hear about nuclear power, say, hey, we haven't even dealt with this small ones and want to go here. Unfortunately, that is what is happening. So although we may have all the knowledgeable people, scientists, engineers, and all that, the culture is not at the moment amenable to what we are seeking to do. But again, I can't make that definitive pronouncement. But we know why people respond in that way. And we need to go through the process and ensure that we have a positive attitude in order to manage the hazard that we are looking at. So the cynics versus the advocates. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching.
Well, let's give we've come to the end of the plenary session, but then I'm sure there are a few of you who want to ask questions. So we want to take about 5-10 minutes, and whoever has a question can bring it up, and then they express that. Yes, you are the question.
I am pushed to make a comment. All right. Now, like I said from the beginning, the purpose of we being here, okay, is to actually put everything together to help us as a country see where we are going. So the two presentations we've actually had today, they are strategic to actually unfold our current situation. Now, I'm saying this because it looks dark from the screen, but I tell you, it is not as dark as you think. Now, I want to say this in this way, and because before a people can make progress, you must actually inspect yourself well. Know who you are. Don't tell lies. And actually, that is what the way two presenters have actually told us this morning. Now, I want to stress on one thing that was said. We've actually talked about the Ghanaian culture for what it is in terms of safety. We've given examples of organizations that have a different word or culture. So culture is made. So the issue is not can you do that. The issue is are you willing to subject yourself and get to where you must actually get to. So as we go through all these presentations, don't look at where we are. Look at what must be done to get us where we actually need to actually get to. Now, I come back to one last point that in the Maslow triangle, we identify that a lot of our people are struggling. Okay, now, I will actually throw your eyes to another point. I'm going to give you the example of South Korea. Now, I use South Korea as an example, and because when many people are talking about the economies of Ghana, oh, the Asian tigers were far, they did this. I said, ooh, you know, it is easy to actually stand afar and talk, but you must get to know where they were and how they got there. Now, one critical example of South Korea is that they had a leader who had a vision. And looking at all his issues, he said that I need to get my country energy to get them somewhere. I am committed to it and I will do it. So he made a choice. South Korea is going nuclear. Nobody talked. Now, if you look at the curve for the progress and the economic benefit of South Korea, and you put nuclear power what do you call it, trajectories, they match like this in sync. So we talked about Maslow. Maslow has put something there that when people are struggling, other things don't come into play. So when we make sure that energy is available, people are using energy, we will get somewhere. So this is why we are here, and then that is why I told you that in the nuclear power program, we're actually having to deal with 19 issues. One of the issues is management. Are we able as a people to actually hold there and go there? Now you can see that I am very, very passionate about what I do. And I will tell you that in our group, and we actually saw this as a critical issue. Management and city courts, it is one of the critical things that we as a country must decide whether we can do it. And we are doing it. So I'm telling you that this is very funny and it's the state of where we are. But I believe the Ghanaian. And I know that the Ghanaian can get there. We must be ready to subject ourselves to nuclear quality leadership. And we'll get where we get to. So that you can continue your question.
You are very passionate. I know. Any other question, please? Question to Prof. to Mike or to our engineer Niaji? Any other?
My name is Michael from Jakarta. Two people who presented their case to us, they have found that Ghanaians don't have data. We are the members of Institute of Engineers. We are seeing what is going on. They are reporting, or we are hearing the story of accidents happening at this place, disaster happening at this place. What are we Institute of Engineers doing so that those data must be shown to others or to share among ourselves or among the institutions, so that any time we also need information about our securities, our job, and co, we can also get it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a very difficult one because I find myself, right in the middle, caught in that kind of web at the time. I think that a lot is being done by the institution. We carry out investigations of some of these accidents. We spend our time to write reports, and we carry these reports and deliver them to the appropriate governmental agencies for action. The fact is, we don't even have a letter acknowledging receipt of the papers and documents we spent hours to come up with. Top management commitments. If you ask me about safety and the culture, I will tell you the key success factors are top management commitment 1, top management commitment 2, top management commitment 3, top management commitment 4. If you see me, you are very passionate. But from my experience, Hello? If you ask for budgetary allocation for A, B, C, and it's not given by the powers that be, me and you will still be talking here. That is our problem. Let's call a spade a spade. We have been fighting for Ghana National Health and Safety Policy. That is what will drive the process. That is what will guide the culture. I remember we did the last reading of the Ghana National Safety Policy in Koforidua as far back as 2014. And the then deputy minister who was there promised that from there the document is going to Parliament for promulgation. 2014, I can give you the date and the hotel in Koforidua. This is the mark on my face. Where is top management commitment? Where is political commitment? I'll stop my rest my case.
Another question for you. Maybe a very short contribution, because the two speakers made mention of atomic explosion, and I'm forced to make this contribution because this is also an IEA program. There's never been an atomic explosion in Ghana. It was a gas explosion located at a place called Atomic Junction. So that's just a clarification for the sake of IEA. Thank you very much.
All right, last one. Last one.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think that was a very good introduction there. Otherwise, we would have thought it was atomic bomb. The speakers, thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. It was so good. And what I'm going to share relates to what passionates me is also talking about. I think what probably we should come out with from this workshop is the fact that we've all recognized the challenges and the way forward. This we all know. Now, even talking about policies, where we have policies, people will tell you that we have Ghana, we have one of the most nicest policies ever, but when it comes to actualization, it doesn't happen. So we could be even pushing for policies, it will come and it will not happen. Can we, at the end of this workshop, have a communique and then pursue that? What I think we should be doing is having programs across the country, sensitizing people about, the safety of nuclear and all that. If you keep doing that, then probably the fears of the people will be swayed, and then we will come to a realization that it is not something that is so odious and it's going to kill us. So I think there should be a communique from this workshop. Otherwise, it will just be a workshop and then we are finished. Let's have a communique. The need to go around to sensitize people is something that is key. And I think that will be very beneficial to us. Thank you very much.
Yes, please, actually, that is well spoken. There is going to be a communique from this workshop, but it's not even only the communique. One of the issues we have as one of the 19 issues is stakeholder involvement and public awareness. So whatever comes out of this workshop, it actually gets integrated into the overall stakeholder and engagement issues, and then it will go up. But we'll actually get the community and we'll actually take it and put it inside, and then we'll go on. This is very well spoken.
Thank you very much, President. Please.
Yeah. Our Jason, we've come to the end of the first session. And I think we should clap for ourselves. Thank you very much. I think we'll break for tea downstairs. I ask the organizers to give you the details of
we go downstairs under the shed over there. When we descend, we move out to the right, just here, for cocoa break. Actually, cocoa break. Yes, not tea, cocoa break. Thank you very much for coming. And we'll be here. What's the timetable? 11:30, please. Let's be here for the next session. So 30 minutes, please. 30 minutes, please. Thank you very much. 12 o'clock.
We were very cute when I found that. I was a service operator, being out of the station, and you were out. And then I was started by training to be a theater operator. But I was only in the training program, then I was simulator instructor, and I was at 7 years. And now I am still not a woman, but every operating room needs to keep And I can even go back and have all my shit. So I had to take all the direct reports from all the positions in the room. And I think that's what I realized how we started out from a very technical point, how to operate this system, how to operate this system. And it was within a few years, I started kind of feeling on, well, this is what's important. And that's, I love being a simulator because that becomes training
You have definitely taken services. The leadership here, the guys talk about it, they don't ask. That's it. When there is any way we can check the CEOs and MDs, maybe African made companies, multinational, very strong. It's like 80 million. Exactly. On the regional level, he told me that every month, if you don't invest you get almost 8,000 pounds. Because I'm British, that's a bonus. So if you imagine, he is going to look at different it's local companies, that's it. What do you think? Yeah, compared what is or you leave that is that's these are the costly serious. You know, the local companies see that as soon as they hire a whole that's it. They'll be clears his hands and that's it. So they manage to grow. And that's how I yeah. All right, bro. All
Everything is excellent. Oh, what a good presenter you and all the people are. As a Swede, I'm used to that. It's like so much energy.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I like that. I like that very much. It's very, I mean, it makes it interesting. It's easy to follow. Yeah.
Okay, so
Will everyone be?
sorry, no, at least some of us get very emotional. Very emotional. So what do you call it? You were Helen was starting the afternoon.
Yes, yes.
Are you doing everything or she?
I'm doing the first one, and then Helena takes over and do the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Det gör jag så gärna. Det var Gud, vad Jesus, det var Kristus.
7 attitudes of love abundance.
Jag googlade. Så jag gjort det i år, men det har varit helt hysteriskt ett litet tag. Jag önskar mig det som att man kan längre. Jag kunde inte få det idag faktiskt. Det finns en snabbstick. Så självständigt. Ja, jag vet inte, man är 1960. Det var ganska häftigt. Jag tror det var 58 månader. Men det känns som det har varit enkelt. Ja, det passar ju deras kultur.
En timme. Tidigare svensk och dansk befästningar. Du är helt udda. Det låter väl danskt. Jag blev lite starkare kontroll på mina vaccinationer också.
Afternoon. You are welcome back from the break. So I'm going to take over from Engineer Joseph. Okay. But before we continue, I'd like to introduce one important personality. That is the president of Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals. They are one of the stakeholders of this particular conference. This is the person of Nana Ano Amelia. Thank you. So we'll proceed by listening to thoughts from the power generation sector will be given by Lampi.
Hello. When Professor made his presentation, but the picture that was painted was so gloomy, I didn't want to come forward anymore. Then engineer 2 came to add salt to injury. But getting to the end, it threw a very nice picture about me. So I'm glad. Then you support everything by saying you are paid well. So if I wanted to book my channel, welcome here. Good afternoon. My name is Samuel Lamte, and as you can see, I'm the tallest man. I'm being supported by Engineer Nanaya, and I bet you he's the second tallest man in this room. Now this shows that me and we don't joke with it. Now, this is the outline. I'm going to go through this outline. The first two presenters presented the state of our nation's safety in terms of cultural background. I'm going to tell you what we do at NIARI. And then you be the judge, whether we are Ghanaians or we are not. I hope it's okay. And I'm going to talk about safety principles. I'll go a bit on that. Scroll through vision statements, talk about our HSC policies, just highlight some about the laws that we are compliant with. We talk about the VRS safety structure, we talk about management system, we talk about how we go about hazard reporting, we look at our hazard education and controls and some challenges. Now I'll go through this one by one. We have these 10 guiding principles. We say that there is no emergency so great that we cannot take our time to do our work safely. In fact, this principle, all VRA they know it by heart. The second principle is saying that we believe that incidents or injuries can be prevented on and off the job. We also say that we place no business objective or priority over safety and health. We say we train and equip individuals to help ensure an incident-free workplace. The fifth one says that accountability for providing a safe working environment rests with each individual. Now, each individual has the authority and responsibility to stop an unsafe act or job. The sixth says that we promote a safe culture in which the reporting of unsafe acts, conditions, and near misses are accompanied without fear of reprisal. We make safety an integral part of work from planning to implementation. The eighth one says that each individual has the right to enjoy a workplace free of harassment and discrimination. The ninth says each individual is responsible for following all applicable safe work practices and procedures. And the final one says that safety is something we must continuously improve. Now, you know, Ghanaians, we can talk. So someone will say this is what? Talk is what? Tip. So this is what I want to do. After going through our management system, our safety culture, I want you to be there whether we are fairly good as failures or they are good. And I want to mention here that we are one of the potential owner-operators of the nuclear power plant. So let's see if it's good, then you should be happy. You shouldn't be so disheartened about the previous presentations. Okay, so this is our vision. We are saying we want to be a model of excellence for power utilities in Africa. And our mission is to provide power to power economies of West Africa and Ghana to make your living standards very nice. Now, this is a copy of our safety policy. If you look inside it, you see that there's a note of management commitment and other aspects. You realize that we have commitment of or responsibilities of staff too as well. Now, in VRA, we take care of our own. In VRA, we provide free medical care for employees. Even when we retire, we provide free medical care. Maybe that's part of the money that comes to our body. And then we also cater for our children. They cater to a certain age. So you can see that over here, management is committed to supporting us in terms of data. And in the environment, we ensure that our operations do not impact negatively on our environment. Bear in mind the laws of Ghana. This is a copy of our policy. This is some of the laws that we comply with. We have the BI Act 46. And this is some of the laws, Workman Compensation Law 1987. We have Factories, Offices and Shops Act that we make sure we comply with. We say we don't have safety, national safety policy, but these are some of the laws that we try to comply with. Now let's come to our safety structure in the BI. We have a central safety committee. Now this committee formulates safety policy. Now the committee is made up of the chief executive and the chairman. Now, all in BI we have deputy chiefs. We have about 3 deputy chiefs. Then we have directors of various departments. We are all members of this committee. Now, the secretary to this committee is my honorable manager, the second tallest one. Now, you can realize that in this meeting, there's no problem that cannot be solved. I hope you agree with me. Once the chief is there, all the directors are there, there's no safety problem that cannot be solved. So this is it. Now below it is the safety management unit, which resides in a department. And below that we have the work area safety committees. Now if you have you go to, let's say, a customer plant, the plant manager is the chairman of that area safety committee. Now all sectional heads are members of that committee. I hope you get it. So that's the constitution of that one. We have then we have the final one is the health and safety representative, where every section a safety rep is elected. We nominate them, we elect them. So this is the structure that is. I'll show you how information flows in this structure. Now this is the composition I talked about. So the first one is the chiefs and his deputies. Safety management unit is a unit in a directorate. We have the safety work area safety committee, and then we have the representative that I talked about. Yeah, the central safety committee meets twice a year. Like I said, it's considered of this big time the chief and the directors, and they meet twice a year to attend to solely safety issues in VR. The safety management unit, these are some of their responsibilities. They monitor health and safety plans, they implement safety policy, they monitor and evaluate safety performance. Now, these are some of the functions of the safety reps. These are all functions that the slides will be given to you, so don't worry. These are not so important for me at this stage. Now, our work management system. You remember that when the engineer was talking, he said for VRA, our culture is a bit, it's fair, give us fair. And it was as if we had some culture that inherently we love safety. I'm telling you that it's not true. You know, we deal with what? Electricity, high pressure fluids, and hot water. Now, it doesn't mean that if you love your life, I want to retire with my hydrogen tank. If you love your life, you take care of safety. So we are safety conscious, not really because things are so much in place that our culture is so good. We are safety conscious because if you joke, you die. So at least that is about 50% of our performance. So I wanted to let you know that. All right, so in VRA, we don't start any job without a roundtable. So before you start a job, you have a discussion, talk about safety issues, and then you do a risk assessment. Now, if you don't do risk assessment, you will never be given the permit to work. So that one is ingrained in our culture. Then from there, we follow the usual system. You apply for protection guarantee, you do the isolations, you are given the permit, you execute the job. So for these steps, you can't skip it. And it's ingrained in our system. So that's one of our successes. Now, I want to talk here on how accidents are reported in here. Anytime there's an accident, whether minor or major, we report it to the safety officer. So let's say we talk of the plants and there's an accident, the safety officer has to know. Now, by law, we are supposed to fill a form. They call it medical form 39. Now, this form will accompany the injured person to the hospital for the doctor to fill his parts. Another copy goes to data technical service, which the safety unit works under. Then one copy is kept by the supervisor. Now, the one that goes to the accompany the injured person also is filled and forwarded to the human resource department. By law, it's supposed to then go to the labor department. And this should be done within at least at most 1 week. So this is the flow of our accident reports. Now, I want to mention here that in BRA, all accidents are investigated, depending on the level of the accident, whatever. So, anytime an accident happens, the safety reps automatically conduct their investigation. They've been trained. Now, depending on the level, the Wasako chairman could form a local team to do their own investigation. Now, notwithstanding that, the director herself, in which the safety unit works under, would instruct and form an investigation team to also do their investigation. Then finally, depending on the severity of the accident, the chief executive can then also form a committee to conduct an investigation. So this is how our system works. Now, this is about hazard identification and control. For every work area, for instance, I'll still use the plant because it's about plants, isn't it? Every month, we do what we call work area inspection. And it's a team of safety and maintenance and operating guys who go around and look at all unsafe acts and unsafe conditions, and they prepare a report. Now, this report is sent to the Wasako meeting, which is also held monthly. Now, the report forms kind of the agenda of the Wasako meeting, where within the capacity of the head, say the plant manager, they try to solve all the issues that come out of that inspection. Now, they forward a copy of the minutes to the Director Technical Service, where our safety needs went under. Now, it is reviewed, and then if they identify that there are certain critical issues that need to go to the top, it is added to the agenda of the Central Safety Committee. Remember, I said they meet twice a year. So if they think the issues raised in these minutes, some are so critical, to move straight to this meeting, and then it's handled by them. So basically, this is our flow, and it's a system that has been jammed into us, and it works right now. Now let's talk a bit about environment. We have what we call the environmental management plan, and its objective is to ensure continuous improvement in reducing or compensating for the impacts of the existence and operations of Akosombo and burn dams on the environment, communities, and workforce. And these are some of the activities that they perform. They do behavior control, they implement the emergency preparedness plan, they do aquatic weed control, and eventually they do environmental monitoring. Now you can note here that for 3 years, that 2015 to 2017, this was the expected expenditure, 27 million Ghana cedis. So this shows that we don't just talk, we walk the talk. But you realize that this is expected. I couldn't get the actuals as we speak. It could be higher or lower, I'm not too sure. Now you realize that this is only information on our hydro plants, that the Bon and then Akosombo. We have a similar arrangement with the thermal plants, where a budget is allocated for an emergency management plan for all our thermal plants. So, though we dish a lot of money, that means that we have money. Okay, these are some of the activities we also do to promote safety. We have what we call Safety Awareness Day, and we set aside the third Thursday of November every year to kind of celebrate our Safety Awareness Day. And basically, we do award departments that are seen to be performing well in safety. And these are some of the criteria we use. We look at their general safety performance. We talked about how often they organize their safety meetings, the attendance of staff to safety meetings, then whether they conduct their work area inspection, the one I talked to you about, we mark them according to that. And we also conduct safety audits for all these departments and give them around. They have a marking scheme actually. They know what is expected of them, and then we mark them accordingly. We also check whether they do risk assessment, and then we check for timely submission of safety reports. So these are some of the criteria we use in giving them awards. So that we give the first three best performing for the technical, and the first three best performing for the non-technical. Now, every year we have what we call a safety coordinators meeting. We meet twice a year. Basically, it's made up of safety coordinators of various work areas. So, for instance, the plant might have a safety coordinator. A different department, let's say the hospital, might also have a coordinator. We meet at a location that we rotate across the country. No, BRB started across the country. So, for instance, this year we met in Accra. By the end of September or in October, in October we are meeting in where is it? In Takrady. So we meet and then we discuss general safety performance of ERA. We look at our management system and see where issues are that we are struggling to meet the standards that can be improved. We discuss the current trends and best practices in safety. And then after all that, we write a report and then submit to management for implementation. Now, this is one of the interesting aspects of our activities, where we do what we call safety culture survey. Now, in this case, what we do is that we without prior notice, when we are doing the inspections, that one we give them notices that we are coming. We go and then the safety officer accompanies us and do the same. But this one, we just go unannounced, and then just be observing them over a period. And then these are some of the criteria we use to assess the kind of culture, the behavior. We look at whether they use the PPE that has been assigned to them, whether they have good housekeeping. When you tell when you are going to visit somebody and you tell the person beforehand, they kind of think about this one, they don't know. So at least the first 2 days, you catch them at how they behave actually. We look at the proper use of tools and equipment. We also look at, this one was very interesting, we look at how management, when you say management, if we pick a plant, we talk about management, meaning the managers and then the immediate senior supervisors, how their attitude towards safety is. So one of the areas to look at is, whether they attend safety. And we take note of those things. And then whether they come early or they wait till it's getting to the end and they come and sign. Then we look at staff attitude to safety meetings, the same as this. Then we look at how they observe road regulation. In the plants, we have a speed limit. We just wanted to see whether people adhere to those. And then we also look at whether people use HMS or motorbikes or they use manual. So all these things are noted, and then we have a small meeting with them in one of their safety meetings. And then we highlight to them that these are what we do. Sometimes we add pictures to show, and you see that we call it name and shame. So this kind of helps in cultivating a good culture. Now, these are some of the interventions that we do. We provide health services, we do safety training, we provide public health services too, and we do a lot of environmental and social protection services, and then some of the safety management systems that I'm talking about. These are the details of the provisions I talked about. Now, normally, beginning of the year, we circulate topics that are mandatory for our safety management meetings, for our safety meetings, and these are some of the topics we have. So therefore, when they are planning for their safety meeting, the topics they will discuss, they have to ensure that at least for the operational areas, that the technical areas, all these should be part of their topics. Then we have some online training too that we have. Now, all this talk is to ensure that our accidents are as minimal as possible. So this some statistics that you can't get in Ghana, but it's here we have. From 2006 to 2017, it's talking about vehicle accidents in BRA. You can see the trend was coming down, then went up. It's coming down now. It's about 6 for 2017. Then if you look at the occupational accidents, the red is the major one, and the blue is the minor. Okay, at least the red, that's the major accidents. You can see that the trend went down sharply, came up. We are around 4. We are a staff of about 2,500. If you are getting major accidents of 4, it looks as if it's not too bad. It's not for me to get. Then you can see that it's reflecting in our workman compensation. That this one this 2016 we spent 30,000 Ghana cedis on compensating guys who fall into accidents. So basically, this is a kind of picture that statistics. So we keep updating it as we go along. Now, this in an environment where we try to control bilharzia, I know the down-located this prevalence of bilharzia downstream. So we kind of go around and help in the treatment and awareness. And you can see that the trend moved from 40% in 2005 to around 80% prevalence rates in 2017. So with that, before I say thank you, despite all our plenty of, we still have challenges. And the major one, as you all know, is funding. For funding, resources are always limited. So sometimes, with all this work area especially, this because sometimes the implementation takes a while, mainly because we don't have unlimited funds. So what my mentor does that we use this prioritization of these activities where we use graded approach. So they prioritize and then come up with areas that we think can immediately solve, and then those that we delay. So that's it. Now, this is an area that if I get a lot of support, information, I'll be happy. In BRA, we fail to report near misses. We've tried all that we can, it's still not improving. So if I get kind of comments and suggestions, I'll really be happy to take it. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer. I think this is refreshing. Okay, let's move straight to the next presentation, and that is safety culture in the mining sector.
My name is Mr. Jacob Agriodo. I'm very humble and highly privileged to do this very important presentation on safety culture in the mining industry. You want me to continue that BRA one? Okay, so we work and we live in an environment which is accustomed to risk. And It is difficult to implement a safety culture where everybody will believe that safety is a way of life because of the environment that we find ourselves. So in the mining sector, the company has been able to achieve a zero harm safety culture in Ghana and by extension in Africa. I'm privileged to be part of that team, and I'm going to present to you how we did it. And it is called the meerkat way. So the meerkat is the small and tiny animal there. How they manage to stay in the bush with all these aggressive animals and stuff like that. Okay. We have various presenters giving introduction about the definition of safety culture. So I will not waste too much time on this one. In the mining sector, and to be precise, at Goldfields, it is collective values, belief, attitude, and how we see safety. So, in principle, what do we believe about safety? How do we see ourselves, keeping ourselves safe anytime, anywhere? That is how we see safety culture. We have gone through 3 stages of safety culture. The first one is called dependent safety culture. This one is completely owned by management, and it is policies, procedures, standards, disciplinary systems in place. So we have hazard identification, risk assessment, resource rules, responsibility, accountability, and authority, complying with legal requirements, putting a system in place for emergency preparedness and response, accident investigation, non-conformity, corrective actions, and preventive actions, and you can name them. That is dependent safety culture. And that is mainly owned by management of the company, with little employee involvement. That is dependent safety culture. So after putting all these systems in place, we move to the next level, which is management and personal commitment culture. This personal and management commitment culture is better than the first one, the dependent safety culture, where employee is not fully involved in safety culture. This one, employee is involved, and employee believe that looking after himself and making sure systems are in place and going home safely to his family is the best way to go. So of course, this is the best compared to the first one. Then we move to the third one, which is interdependent safety culture. Interdependent safety culture is one for all and all for one. The previous one is each one for himself and God for us all. This one is better because it is a team commitment work where I look after you and you look after me. So this is inspired by a meerkat ideology, and that is why I put a meerkat at the beginning of my presentation. For some of us, it is the first time of hearing meerkat. So let's watch a small video on the meerkat, how it's able to survive in the bush. The system is not connected to the, so let me do explain. Unfortunately, the video the volume is not coming out. So this meerkat lives in an environment which is very high risk. They are very tiny, so they can be swallowed by any animal that come across. So they are always alert. They move in groups, and they always look after each other. All for one and one for all, the meerkat to me. If they are threatened by a dangerous animal, they all move together and threaten the animal to move away from their direction. They don't run away. And when they are down eating, you see some of them going on top of the trees and making sure that the enemy is not coming to kill them. Whilst the others are working so hard to find food, the rest are watching to make sure the enemy is not coming. They are not until they are searching for food. And they eat scorpion a lot. So they search for scorpions and eat. And whilst others, a group of them, are looking for scorpion as food, the rest will be paying attention on the trees, watching from afar. They have different types of alert signals. If they give one sound, all the meerkat understand what it means. So they communicate with sound and noise. You see, when they are moving in groups, but they don't keep going straight. What they do is that when they move a distance, one will stand and then watch the environment and make sure that the enemy is not there before he notify the rest to go. They are good in climbing, but when they are coming down from the tree, they are not good, so they fall down most of the time. What does that mean? In every safety management system, there is always a continuous improvement. There's room for improvement. So even though they are experts in watching and looking after each other, they have a weak system that is descending from a tree. And this is something that they can work on. So you see the snake down there, they are not afraid, but they are rather scaring the snake to go away. That is the power of these tiny animals and how they keep each other safe. This one is the information systems manager, and he goes up there to make sure that he watches after his people. And you see how difficult for the meerkat to descend. And that is a way of improving your safety management system. There's always a continuous improvement. Okay, so they have received an alert that the enemy is on the way coming. You see how fast they are moving to hide. One is standing, watching their back, while they all move towards a safer environment. One thing about the meerkat is that their job is very difficult. They are tiny and they find it difficult to get food. But they keep awake all the time. And this is what keeps them safe in that environment. It's not easy to keep awake, especially. Okay, so in summary, the meerkat is going to tell us their qualities in making sure they keep themselves safe. So listen to your safety instincts. Safety instincts is something that tells you few minutes before an accident happens. If you are about to do overtaking of a dangerous situation, something tells you inside, it can go wrong. Listen to your instincts. That is the meerkat way. They listen to their instincts. So if they have the feeling that the environment that they are going in is dangerous, they listen and they go away from it. They are consistent. And so we have to be consistent and make sure that we do things, the same thing at the same time and at the right time. The meerkat communicate to each other. And so if we want our safety culture to be perfect, we have to communicate all the time. What is the essence in doing a risk assessment and not communicating to the others? Where is the risk? So communication is very important in our safety management system and ensuring that we have the best safety culture where everybody goes home safely anytime. They also learn from each other. We don't know everything, so we have to learn from the experiences of others. We have to learn from the experiences of other groups so that we can better our safety culture to live safely at all times. no clashing. We don't have to overlook certain things. It is very important. You don't walk past a situation which is dangerous, and then you expect an accident not to happen. So always make sure that you don't overlook things and keep improving. Like we said earlier on, the meerkat has a lot of qualities, but here is a case: descending from a tree is difficult for him. So where we find ourselves as weak, we continue to improve. So in summary, there is a perfect and good improving safety culture that we can learn from. As a country, it is not too late. If there is a company in Ghana that is using the meerkat concept to better off its safety culture, we can all do it in an environment that will be all happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the video is very interesting. And one particular point that I took notice of is where the meerkat was sleeping. And it's a very important point because sleep deprivation is one of the reasons why we get some of the accidents at the workplaces. So thank you very much. Okay, I'll be giving the responsibility of giving the last talk before we go for lunch. It's a 30-minute talk that I'm going to squeeze into 20 minutes. So, please let me know when I'm past or I'm exactly at 20 minutes. So, basically, we've given a couple of presentations, and based on the picture that has been painted so far, you can say we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, which means we have the good practices, and we also have lessons to learn from. That was have the necessary filters and know what to put what. So, I'm Charles Kopi Kluti, and I work with Nuclear Power Institute at Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. So, Nuclear Power Institute is one of the technical institute for the Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization, and I'll talk about it briefly. But before then, I'd like to share a personal feeling about nuclear power. So as the country is going to deploy this technology, hopefully we'll deploy it. If our aim is just to get electricity from the nuclear power, then it's like we won the battle but lost the war. In the sense that the nuclear power is going to be impactful in lots of areas. And as you can see now, it's impacting on not only the culture in the nuclear power industry, but our national culture. And it's upwards to tap into these areas and kind of improve on our various areas of enterprise. A few months ago, we were here to talk about how impactful nuclear power is going to be on our quality. So, let's move on. What is the pointer? Okay, thank you. So, I'll give a brief overview of what the Nuclear Power Program Organization is, past, present, and future directions. And Ghana's power demand forecast. And I'll give or establish the point that safety concerns are important human nature. And I'll talk briefly about the fundamental safety objectives in the perspective of IAEA. And there are experts here who will be talking in details about it. And then I'll be talking about strategies we have for fostering a strong nuclear safety culture. Okay, so we look at a situation where established companies have a well-established safety culture infrastructure. So now we're going to look at a new organization trying to build its safety culture. So, Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization, that is GNPPO, is the organization that is mandated by the government to coordinate all activities that are necessary and to lead to the country deploying nuclear technology to generate electricity. So it is made up of the advisory board and the technical body. The technical body is made up of the Nuclear Power Institute under Ghana Atomic Energy Commission and Ghana Nuclear Regulatory Authority. And there are other key stakeholders which are listed there, and the list is not complete. Okay. So these two bodies have a coordinator. So there is a coordinator which leads the advisory board to the GNPPO technical board, and they are happy to have the coordinator in the person of Super. Okay, so in the past, the Nuclear Power Program Organization has been making preparation to enable the country to make a knowledgeable decision to commit itself to the deployment of nuclear technology. And presently, we are putting together the program comprehensive report, which our director has already mentioned will be submitted to the government. So after the national decision has been taken, we'll have to go into program feasibility and development phase. So in anticipating for that, there's already in place project organization, which is headquartered in Wind Power Authority. So they have already started making preparation towards the project feasibility and development phase. So that brings us to why we are here. So part of the answer lies in the Ghana's power demand forecast. So this figure is showing us the energy demand in the future, that's about 2040, taking into consideration Ghana's ambition to industrialize and the 40-year development plan. Our ambition to reduce poverty. So simply what it says here is that the power that we require now, we need more than 5 times that in about 20-30 years time. And this is the issue. If we put together all our gas infrastructure, we will be able to meet that power generation at that time. That is by GNPC projection. And again, we also have responsibility to reduce carbon emissions. So our electricity generation from fossil fuel will be drastically limited. Apart from that, the gas supplies that have been discovered so far will begin to dwindle by 2028. So because of that, the country is looking at a broad range of energy sources, including nuclear, renewables, coal, and hydro. As for now, most of the hydro resources have been exhausted. So now, if we look at our carbon emission responsibility, then we are also limited with coal. So that is done with renewables and nuclear. However, in terms of our 40-year development plan, we need a base load that can support our ambition, and that puts nuclear consideration very high. Now, when we talk about nuclear, then safety concerns are raised. But let me mention that every major project has its concerns. And the example is the Akosombo Dam. History has that when the project was perceived, there were a lot of concerns, financial concerns, safety, and other concerns. However, they were able to deal with all those concerns, and as Engineer Lampe talked to us today, there are a lot of good examples we can learn from this enterprise. So the bottom line is every major project has its safety concern, and it's part of human nature, it's part of our need, as has been explained by other presenters. So by then, management makes a difference. So I remark here that risk and safety issues are involved in every endeavor. Management makes a difference, and a well-managed plant is considered as a safe plant. So we are looking at the IAEA guidelines in fostering our safety culture, and their primary responsibility is to protect people and environment from harmful effects of ionizing radiation. That is, any organization that is going into the nuclear technology must keep this in mind. And to do that, you need a management system, and they have a lot of standards that can be used as guides to develop the management system that takes into account the safety culture. And I won't go into details on this, but I'll mention some important points. So safety fundamental has 10 principles, and principle 3 talk about leadership and management of safety. And this principle 3 has 14 requirements, and one particular requirement talks about fostering a culture for safety in an organization. So individuals in the organization, from senior managers downwards, shall foster a strong safety culture, and the management system and leadership for safety shall such as to foster and sustain a strong safety culture. So, what are we doing as GLPPO to make sure that the organization that will be taking care of our nuclear technology has a strong safety culture? So, basically, we acknowledge the need for a strong safety culture, and we have an understanding of what safety culture entails, but that has to be continual. And this conference, for instance, is an avenue for such understanding. Now, we also have to accept the status of our national safety culture. But before we accept it, we need to know what it is. And one of our first steps is to assess the safety culture in the various Ghanaian industries. Now, when the nuclear power program, as it moves forward, most of these industries are going to be the source of the human resource for the organization. So the safety culture in this industry is going to be very important in the eventual organization for the nuclear safety culture. And of course, we need to put infrastructure in place for fostering the safety culture. And the information we get from this assessment will be very helpful in putting that infrastructure in place. Okay. So basically, we've taken the decision to do that assessment and justify it various with the objectives, and we are supporting various stakeholders to support and participate in this assessment. We've gathered some initial data, and then at present we are at a pilot stage, or we've just completed the pilot. So the results I'm going to use to show you today is the pilot survey. From here we'll move to the conduction of the assessment, then analyze the results. So it was our hope that this will be presented in this conference, but time caught up this. However, most of the organizations that we have earmarked for the conduction of this safety culture, some of them are present here, and we appeal to you that when you get the survey questions, please answer them with promptness. So we are basing our assessment on the IEA safety culture characteristics. Is there a clear leadership for safety? Is safety a clearly recognized value? Is there accountability of safety? Is safety integrated in all activities, and safety learning driven? So let me admit that we didn't take the instrument holistically, so we modify it a little bit and use it. Okay, so from the initial data we've gathered so far, we realize that senior management is very important in the assessment. As you can see from here, when we administered the questionnaire without